Spiritual confrontation. Back in the Second Republic of Zaire, there was a dedicated Christian lady in that period. She was serious with the Lord and she was intense in prayer. When this lady was praying she was flamboyant, and during her prayer she was attacking the kingdom of Satan and the infrastructure of the parallel world. I mean, during her prayer her spirit was coming out of her body and she was destroying fuel and oil reserve that were supplying oil station of the astral world. These fuel station of the invisible world were point of supply for flying craft and interdimensional planes of witches and Satanists. As a result of destruction and damage caused by this woman prayer I was summoned by the devil. Later on I was commissioned by the devil to destroy this lady because she was praying a lot, yet no power of the enemy was able to stop her. Quickly I began to do a follow-up on her. When I saw this lady in the street in the city, I followed and I tried to court this young lady, but she refused. I tried to impress her. I told her that my father was deputy mayor and we were living a posh life, but she refused me despite my social standard. Finally I decided to offend her in order to aggravate her. Actually anger and aggravation are massive gateway in the spirit world, so I threw my pen to her in order to anger her, but she ignored me. She did not respond. However, I still continued to follow her. I could not give up and declare defeat. When the devil gives assignments to the Satanist, the latter acts with determination and perseverance. They never give up. They can wait patiently for years. Later on I took her footprint in order to bewitch her. As I held the sand containing her footmark I began to do invocation, and while I was doing invocation the sand containing her footprint turned to the red blood of Jesus that burned my hand. This blood was fiery and it disappeared. It was different from human blood. The sister was serious with God, so I could not do anything against her. It is difficult these days to see a sister who wait on the Lord. I called Army Lucifer to inform him about the progress of the operation. When I got in communication with the devil, the latter said to me, "Ambassador, I am watching everything that is happening in the mirror. Beloved, there are huge mirror and huge screen in the dark world through which we were watching believers on the earth. It allow the devil to monitor and identify strong Christian and weak Christian." Later, the devil sent me a reinforcement of 50 more demons, though I already had 90 demons in my disposal, because this sister was fiery. Whenever she is praying she was entering the dark world of Satan and she was destroying the reserve of blood and the reserve of human flesh. There are two things are considered to be red line by the devil. These things are essential for the survival of his kingdom. These things are the reserve of fuel, which is human blood, and the reserve of human flesh, which is the food of demonic world. Yet this sister was threatening and was destroying the oil reserve, which is human blood. The witches and the Satanist operate interdimensional journey and astral journey with invisible spacecraft and plane that function with human blood, which is their oil. There are times these servants of Satan even borrow blood in the oil reserve and oil station in order to fly, and this is credited in their account because they would reimburse by offering human sacrifice. So when this Christian lady was praying she was destroying many oil reserve, and she was entering the dark world and causing destruction. She was also entering the warehouse of the Satanic world, where kilometers of stock of human flesh, which is the food of demons, was kept. Every time the devil instigated war, plane crashed, traffic accident and human sacrifice, the flesh of the victim are transported to the warehouse where human flesh are kept. This is the food of the dark world. I told you that the devil has installed canal and oleoduct all over the world for the transport of fuel, which is human blood. The warehouse where the stock of human flesh is stored in the Satanic world has the size of the capital of our country. The devil makes sure that there is enough human flesh because demons don't eat our food and they don't drink our wine. They eat human flesh and they drink human blood. But this sister was entering the kingdom of Satan when she was praying, and she was damaging the fuel reserve and meat reserve. Thus the devil said to me, "I am giving you this mission because you had studied magic." Actually I studied parapsychology. I studied how to get in a church and cause destruction. Later I deployed demon against this sister, but they could not come closer because of the angels of the Lord that were keeping her. These angels were shining, and when I opened my spiritual eyes I saw that the sister aura was also shining intensely because of prayer and sanctification. Likewise the star on her forehead was also shining brightly. On top of this the sister was covered with flame of fire. Some later I went to my master to inform him about the progress of this operation. When I arrived in the church, my master, the false pastor, said, "We were waiting for you. We have been watching the progress of your assignment in the magic mirror." Then master asked me the name of the sister. Afterward he began to summon the sister in the crystal ball, which also functioned as magic mirror. A crystal ball, also known as an orbiculum, is a crystal or glass ball and common fortune-telling object. After spending an hour summoning this sister, she finally appeared in the crystal ball. My master said, "She is just a child." Then he gave me a needle so that I would stab her to death. I did magic prayer and I recited magic formula. However, when I tried to stab this sister with the needle, it broke itself. Nevertheless, I took the second needle in order to stab her, but it was broken again. Then my master took a trident in order to kill the sister. A trident is a three-pronged spear. The trident is the weapon of Poseidon, or Neptune, the god of the sea in classical mythology. This is a demonic weapon of destruction of humanity. It has three-pronged spear because a man has three parts: the body, soul and spirit. My master did magic prayer in order to stab this sister, but when my master tried to stab the sister with the trident, the crystal ball exploded. It was the great escape. Everyone was running to save his life. The army of the devil is well organized. There are powers of the air, members of the Air Force, commanded by Uranus. Uranus was the primal god of the heavens. His Roman equivalent was Kelus. According to ancient Greek literature, Uranus, who is the prince of air, was the husband of Gaia. In the army of Satan there is also the ground force that is ruled by the siren Demeter, and the siren Persephone. The naval force of the army of Satan is ruled by Neptune in charge of the sea. We know that God is in the third heaven, but the space and the second heaven is ruled by the prince of air. This place is where many prayer and blessing are confiscated. The prince of air has set up a cosmic barrier in the firmament in order to stop prayer. The cosmogonic barriers stopped many prayers. The kingdom of heaven requires determination and violence. If you fail to confess your sin, your prayer may be stopped in space by principality in the second heaven. Daniel was in fasting and prayer, but the prince of Persia stopped his prayer. Your prayer must pierce the second heaven in order to reach the throne of God. In the second heaven there is a powerful principality called the Queen of Heaven. This space siren is Mary Marguella. She is above Uranus, the primal god of the heavens. She is the siren of space and the most powerful woman. People call her Our Lady, the Immaculate Virgin, the Mother of God. I was attending her meeting in the sun. Beloved, the Bible say, "I have given you every place where the sole of your foot will tread," just as I promised to Moses. When you are a Christian and you moved in a new house, a new compound or a new quarter, you must take possession of the land and the place where you have moved in. In case you fail to possess the place, the compound and the new area, we had the ability to attack you from the under-earth. The subterranean world is controlled by the princess Demeter and Persephone that ruled the underworld. In Greek mythology, Demeter is the goddess of the grain, agriculture, harvest, growth, and nourishment. Believers must learn to take possession of the land, because the foundation is beneath the ground, and the territory beneath the ground is controlled by the mermaid Demeter. We were attacking pastors standing on the pulpit from the lower earth. The naval kingdom Lucifer is ruled by Neptune, who is the master of the oceans and the sea. I used to encounter the principality Neptune in the Black Sabbath and Satanic gathering with Lucifer. Neptune was the name that ancient Romans God gave to the Greek god of the sea and earthquakes Poseidon. The second master of the oceans is Leviathan, who reside in the ocean. Then we have the queen of the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, who is proliferating sexual immorality. She ruled many sirens and serpent men. Many sirens are in whirlpool. I remember one day we were traveling in Lower Congo province, but as we were approaching the bridge over the lake, I noticed that our lorry was moving in unexplained speed. We no longer had control over it, yet there were 4 workers and many of our goods in the lorry. We were in danger. Immediately I instructed the 90 demons that were my bodyguard to guide the lorry to the bridge because the road was in bad condition. When the car reached the bridge we stopped. I was suspicious. When I went out of the car I decided to summon the mermaid drooling that lake in order to talk to her. I began by establishing a telepathic communication with her. As I was summoning her, she rose from the water. I noticed that she was extremely beautiful, and she was shining. She had angelic beauty. When she saw me, she asked me, "Who are you? And why have you called me?" I told her I am Ambassador 006 for Central Africa. When I introduced myself to her, she began to laugh with infernal. I told her, "Really, I am talking to you but you are laughing like this." She said to me, "Claude, whatever your level, you are just a man and I am a spirit." She said to me, "Claude, I wanted to kill you but I pity you. I even entered your lorry and I destroyed the brake and everything. I wanted to capture all of you including the good of your father but I pity you. If you think I am lying, just ask your bodyguard." When I asked the 90 demons that were with me if this was the case, they said, "Master, she came to kill you but we protected you." I was surprised that I could not see that mermaid as she came to attack me. She was surely higher than me in terms of power. We were debating and arguing. I tried to strike her with magnetic force but she was shielded, and she laughed at me. Then she asked me to join her in the water in order to visit her world underwater. But I was scared she may capture my soul because she is stronger in the water. I asked her to come away from water but she refused because the more she is far from water the weak she is. She said to me, "She give power to men of God and businessmen." As we were talking, she asked me to start a love relationship with her. I say to her that I already had a fiancé. She said, "I know you are engaged but you are not yet married." She said, "If you accept my condition you will just have to avoid terrestrial woman." Then I saw the mermaid moving the bridge away from its location including our car. Many of the accident that was happening in this lake and bridge were caused by this mermaid. She had the ability to remove the whole bridge from its place, yet natural men and driver won't be able to see that the bridge was displaced. They would continue to see the bridge even though it is already removed. As a result they will be accident. The siren removed the bridge and held it in the hand. She asked me, "Do you want me to cast the bridge including your lorry in the water?" At the moment I beg her not to do it, but as we were talking I saw a lorry coming. There were Christian in that lorry singing song of praise. I noticed that their car was surrounded by flames of fire. Then the siren alerted me about this lorry that was surrounded by fire. She said to me, "Our enemy are coming." The mermaid had the bridge in her hand but when she saw Christian coming she put back the bridge in its location and she went back in the water to avoid the flame of these Christians.